CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is a huge achievement for Donald Trump and a huge bucket of electoral votes, 19 of them, for his path back to the presidency. As of right now, with those 19 electoral votes added from Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is within spitting distance of 270 electoral votes. He has 265 electoral votes. Vice President Kamala Harris has 187 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. John King, Donald Trump is within a hair's breadth of being reelected president.
Yes, he is. And let's just walk over. We'll look at where we are now, 265 to 187. And you're looking at this map. He's leading here. He's leading here. He could get a congressional vote there. There's another one at Maine he could possibly get. But if you just look out here, he is almost certain to get this. The state of Alaska hasn't voted Democrat forever. That would get him to 268. So you're at the point right now, Jake, where pick it, right? Just pick it. There's be one congressional. He could possibly win both in Nebraska. That would get him to 270, assuming he wins Alaska, which I think is a pretty safe bet. Then you just look at the map, right? Unlikely to get any of these over here. He could possibly get an electoral vote out of Maine, but he's leading here, leading here, leading here, and leading there, and he needs two. He needs two. So if he gets that one and that one, he's way up. And if he keeps holding these, then now that's where he was. When he won, he was at 304, 306. That would be 310. 310 if he sweeps. There's no guarantee he's going to sweep by any means, but he's leading in enough states right now. Plus, there's a couple other congressional districts on the board where he could pass. He could, emphasis on could, pass 310 electoral votes. You come back to where we are now, though. He's just in a commanding position, let's do the math the other way, okay? Which is what gets interesting, right? This is now red in our count. There we go. That gets Donald Trump there. Here's the challenge when you do the math the other way. You assume that stays for the Republican. Let's just, for the sake of argument, big comeback for the Democrat. Big comeback for the Democrat. Democrat holds New Mexico, holds Minnesota. Excuse me for that one. Wins Wisconsin. Wins Michigan. You see this count? See this count? It's New Jersey. There's Connecticut. There's New Hampshire. Pop it out. What do you want to pick? You want to go state? Well, you could even go statewide. It's not going to happen, but let's say statewide. All right, you do all the Maine. You come back out. What does that get you? All right, so it comes down to this: if she wins everything. If she wins everything. The Pennsylvania is what makes Donald Trump. Again, we're not done until we're done, but Pennsylvania, in every path she had, any reasonable, plausible path to 270, included the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the Vice President of the United States. So you get to a place now where as you come back over here, you're just looking at this map and you're saying, is she going to win Alaska? No one's going to Vegas on that one. So where is she in any of these? Do you start coming back? Is there any way to come back? 73% of the vote. It's 266,000 votes. Again, let's just look at the live outstanding vote. Let me move this up so you can see it better. Yes, the outstanding vote in Michigan is disproportionately Democratic, but there are a fair amount. See those big red circles? Fair amount of Republican votes out there. We have a 266,000 vote lead and a map that looks like that of what votes out. Again, I don't do impossibles, but I do improbables, and that's improbable. You come over here to Wisconsin. Again, 119,000 votes ahead. That's come down a little tiny bit. It has. But it's a state won by 22,000 votes in the last two elections, and Donald Trump is ahead at the moment by 119,000 votes. And so, again, you're looking at what's left. You're at 92%. Sure, the biggest is here, but look at those. Those are modest circles for Republican votes as well. Essentially, in chess, she's blocked. Donald Trump's not across the line yet because we have more states to go through, but she is essentially blocked from getting to 270.
All right, stand by for a projection because CNN can now project that Kamala Harris will get that one electoral vote from Omaha. Nebraska gives its electoral votes according to congressional district. Kamala Harris will get one of them. Donald Trump will get another one of them. Of the five, let's look at the electoral map. Donald Trump now has 266 electoral votes because we just gave him one from Nebraska's, I think, first congressional district. Kamala Harris has 188 because we just gave her one from Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. 270 are needed to win. Donald Trump needs only 4 more electoral votes in order to be the president. Dana?
I mean, Pennsylvania, if you look at those numbers, 266, 266, 4 more. And you just saw the math that John did, the path that the different paths that he put out there for Donald Trump and that for Kamala Harris. And
I'm still
again, we're not.
I mean, that map of where she did not perform, the like completely grayed out map
Right.
where she never overperformed Biden more than 3%. That's just rough.
I think there are 2 stories here. One is the burden that she faced, and to go back to the very beginning of the night when we did the right track, wrong track. 26% of the country thinks that the nation is in the right track. 72% think they're in the wrong track. And when it came to the performance of Joe Biden, it was 41% to approve to 58% disapprove. So she had an enormous burden. And you know, people are unhappy with the way the Biden-Harris administration has run this country for the last 4 years, and she did not succeed. I'm not sure it was possible for her to succeed in somehow positioning herself as an agent of change and distancing herself from Biden. There's another part of the story, though, we got to talk about, which is Donald Trump. The fact is that when you go back to January 6th of 2021 to today, it is an extraordinary comeback. He was a pariah when he left town on January 20th, refused to even go to the inauguration. There was the vast majority of members of his own party wouldn't be seen with him. He, you know, over the course of the 4 years, he proceeds to win himself back into the party, declares right after the tremendous defeat of the Republicans. There was certainly an unsuccessful showing in the midterms in 2022, wins a contested primary, and you know, this is his party. This is these voters.
It's not just his party.
What?
It's not just his party now, and that's
No, it's his country.
I mean, we have to be careful. We haven't called it yet, but Pennsylvania makes it extremely tough for Kamala Harris, and that's one of the things. I mean, the Trump side of this, one of the most extraordinary dynamics that we didn't necessarily see coming was that there still was a hidden Trump vote. Everybody who, even those who are big supporters of Donald Trump, would tell me, well, now they're loud and proud. People who are MAGA are very open about it, and so on and so forth. Except if you look at just these exit polls across these states and then nationally, there are so many pockets of formerly Democratic sort of coalition voters who have moved in an extraordinary way. I mean, Latino men, an 18-point swing for Donald Trump. He got 18 percentage points more among Latino men than he did in 2020.
Also, the campaign made this concerted effort to go after the never Trump vote, being out there campaigning alongside Liz Cheney, talking about having Republicans in the cabinet. It seems like that did not move people, that is still, in some ways, the never Trump community is kind of a homeless community, and it didn't help Democrats in this conversation in really any of these states. You don't get the sense that there was this vast, as you said, hidden vote that somehow pollsters missed or that people voted in secret. That kind of conversation, it just looks like it didn't pan out.
The fact is that the Trump campaign identified what the majority of Americans, and it appears that for the first time he is going to win the popular vote in addition to the electoral vote, what they cared about. That what they cared about is the fact that a box of cereal costs $9, that with Southern Republican governors shipping illegal immigrants north, that the whole migration issue has become a national issue, that you feel it in New York and Illinois and a bunch of northern states. The transgender issue was you know, this version of the cultural wars. And you know, people were surprised at the fact that he spent more money on the transgender issue than he did on the economy or immigration in terms of advertising, and it obviously seems to have worked like gangbusters. So he really identified what the concerns of the majority of Americans was, and he played to it, and she faced this overwhelming burden that people just didn't like the direction of the country as it stood now after 4 years of Biden and Harris.
Yeah, well, and the big term of 2024, Anderson, is the manosphere, and we're all living in the manosphere now.